Queens, long time no see. That's my fault. But today I am going to be giving you all my detailed tutorial on how I do one of my braid patterns for my sew-in foundations. If you are new here to my channel, I'm Naya Rain, and I just give all the girls tips on how to do certain hairstyles, and I also like to yap a lot too. So stay tuned for that with my other videos. Now, we all know a great service starts at the shampoo bowl, so I did shampoo my client hair. I gave her a great deep cleanse and a hydrating steam treatment before we doing her sewing, because with styles that require leave out, you want to make sure that their hair is hydrated and in good health so that the hair can blend seamlessly with the install. So I'm starting off by parting out her anchor braid. I already did the other side, so this will be the side that I'm going to complete for the second part. And I'm going to start with the anchor braid. So if you have purchased my traditional sew-in course, you know that I'm very, very strong on having 4 anchor braids for your install to make sure that it is a strong install and it's an install that does not go away, because that's what makes my sew-ins long lasting. Now, when I do my 4 anchor braids, I do add in a little bit of braiding here just to give it a bit of sturdiness, because a lot of clients' hair densities aren't strong enough to withhold like all the thread pulling on it and everything else. And I just feel like it causes no breakage at all. I'm not going to say less breakage. It's no breakage, because my clients don't have any breakage from none of my installs. So I just add in like literally 3 small pieces, because that's enough. I don't want these anchor braids to be too bulky, because that's where everything should lay flat. I don't use like the expressions here because I know a lot of people have reactions to it, like itching. So I use the free choice braiding hair, or any braiding hair that says it has been soaked in vinegar. Or if you would like, you can soak the hair in vinegar yourself before adding it to your client's hair. For my beginner hairstylists that are watching, or my stylists who are new to sew-ins and want to get into sew-ins, the trick to getting these anchor braids to be so small and sturdy is you have to braid close together. Do not drag the braids. If you notice with my hand placement, I kept my hands very close together to make sure everything is tight and secure. My clients literally always say they never feel me in their hair when I'm braiding, because I'm very gentle. I'm not like a heavy-handed braider, and that says a lot, because that also plays into what I promote as far as low tension hairstyles. Now, this will be me parting out the 4th anchor braid, because like I said, the other side is done. So the other 2 anchor braids are already complete, as you can see a little bit. And then this will be the 4th anchor braid. I'm going to show y'all how I basically make it as one. So I'm going to take one piece of hair, it's a little bit fuller, and I'm just pulling it and stretching it out so it can stretch a little bit longer when I come around the back of her hair to braid. I'm going to take the crochet needle and carefully just slide it through. Be very gentle and adhere the piece of hair into that loop, and then just slide it through. Now we're gonna go ahead and start to braid it, kind of like you're doing a box braid, and then we're gonna go ahead and start to connect it with the hair that I just parted out along the perimeter. So the reason I do this is because, for one, like I said, this is the foundation, this is the anchor braid. These 4 braids will make or break your install. If there's not enough precision put into these 4 anchor braids, the longevity of your install and how long and how strong it holds up will really say a lot based off of how you do the anchor braids. This also ensures that for when you are sewing the bundles in, that there isn't too much tension on one braid, or like one braid isn't doing all of the work. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm bringing this all the way around and braiding around the back. I'm going to pull up the braid and connect from the other side, and I'm going to continue braiding. In my sew-in course, I go more in detail on how I connect that braid and make sure there's no tension in that back. And then we're just braiding the hair all the way around the back, just so we have 2 sturdy braids in the back from when I do that first sew of the first install, to make sure nothing is moving or out of place. So now that we're about to go ahead and start braiding, I'm going to go in with my Blue Magic grease, because it ain't never did me wrong. And I'm just applying it to the perimeter of her hair so it can be a bit soft, and I can have more management with it, and nothing is tangling or just dry along the process. If you notice, when I do apply the product to my client's hair, I'm actually applying it to their hair and not their scalp. So don't worry. This will not cause buildup on your client's hair. If you are wondering, like I said, I only really just do it around this perimeter. I probably may apply it one more time throughout the video, but I'm really applying it to her hair. And the trick is to comb the product through. Never apply anything directly to the scalp because it can clog your client's pores. Now, I've heard different titles for this braid foundation. My mama call it the around the world braid. Most people call it the beehive braid, whatever it is, the one braid, the circle braid, whatever. Nonetheless, the braid gonna keep wrapping around and around and around. Now the other side is already complete, so this is the one side that I'm finishing. So basically I split that into two parts because this is like, I don't want to connect everything as one, if that makes sense, because I still want to encourage a flat foundation. So that's why I split the circles into two pieces. So the right side got its own circle foundation, as you can kind of see over there, like everything already braided down. And now this left side, I'm doing it over there. So I'm coming around and I'm just braiding and making sure that, like I said, I'm braiding with my hands close together. I'm not dragging the braids out because that creates loose and bulky braids, and you do not want a loose and bulky install. Like, no one likes a fat humpy sew-in. It's 2026. Everyone's sew-in should be flat at this point. And with this method, your sew-ins are going to be flat and it's going to last a long time and still be flat months later. Now introducing this braid down to you all, because I noticed like with this braid down, I move faster. So once again, if you have purchased my traditional sew-in course, or if you're looking to purchase it, and when you do purchase it, you'll notice like I only have like one braid foundation. I think two braid foundations in there. If I can't remember, y'all. I made it so long ago. But anyways, this is way quicker than the one I introduced to you all. So you might like this one because it might be easier to grasp. Some people like the other one. It's to each their own, actually. I love this foundation because it's great for people with low density, thick density, any kind of density. Very suitable. I would highly recommend this for clients with low density, though, like who have thinning in certain areas of their hair or just breakage, and you want to keep like a safe and secure foundation for them. Now we are going to go in with the net, but I just always vouch that you should always put a lot of effort into the braid foundation because that's what matters overall. Like people, I know there's a lot of people just kind of like skim through the braid foundation and then just hurry up and slap the net on, like as long as the braids are flat or is looking flat, then they don't care. But I feel like if you're not putting effort into your foundation, it won't last as long. And once again, I offer long-lasting and low-maintenance sew-ins. Now, before, when I used to do this foundation, I didn't used to do that method I showed you all with the crochet hook. So I never liked to do this method because I felt like it got bulky towards the front with me doing like this curving around. So I want to stress the importance of how you do not forget to buy you that crochet hook for about $1 or $2 at the beauty supply store and get that braid in here so that you can have that flat lay or finish right there near the foundation of your client's hair, because it will get bulky and it will be uncomfortable for some people if you have not mastered how to do a sew-in without adding so much tension when you pull in the thread. We will apply a net later on, and the net is what basically ties everything together to make it flat. But overall, please, 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 ladies, in order for you to have a great sew-in, it's really the braid foundation. It all starts at the foundation. Like I said, a great shampoo is what's going to set the tone. Make sure you do a deep cleanse of your client's hair. You're adding in products that's essential to their hair and scalp to keep it hydrated during this process or during this time period of having an install in for maybe 2 to 3 months. And then you're going to go in with a precise braid foundation. Now, when we're doing this beehive, I want to make sure that I always end with the braid facing downward, like how I'm doing now, because it makes it easier for me to tuck the end of the braid and crochet it in to the other side, and everything lays neat and perfect. But you're just going to take that crochet hook needle once again and slide the hair through and keep sliding it through the braids until it is tucked and no longer visible. I do not like sewing the braid down, because I just feel like it makes it complicated for my clients to remove their install if it's not being removed by me, or if another family member is removing it. Everything should be easy once removing this install. As you can see, everything is tucked in place. The hair is flat. You see how, like I said, they have its two individual sides, and it comes together. It's cohesive. Now you got two beehives, two around the world, whatever you want to call it. Now, this is why I said the net comes into play. Now, a lot of people are very skeptical about a net because either they don't know about it or they have seen other things. But I will say a net is important, one, because it keeps everything in place. Like I said, the braid foundation sets the tone, the net reinforces it, and then going forward. Also, you can most definitely shampoo your hair with the your install with this net in. You can shampoo your hair, because I do all the time for my clients when they get a maintenance. It gets to their scalp, and you can still moisturize and hydrate your scalp. This net is not like a barrier. It's just to help with keeping your foundation in place, and it also allows for it to be a low tension style. As you can see, everything is flat, and I'm just going to kind of show you a sneak peek of how I blend her leave out with minimal product and with like a safe way to blend it without like causing any heat damage. Me personally, I would prefer to shampoo my clients' hair before the install, because at the bowl, I like to use Design Essentials and Mazzani to prep their hair for this leave out. And I have a steam machine, so I also steam their hair so I can hydrate their hair. And if they need a protein treatment, I'll give it to them, because nothing beats sewing where the hair blends. If the hair not blending and laying right, it sucks. So what I just did was spray some silkening mist on her install, and I added a little bit of wax. You see it's not even transferring over. Now make sure you're combing the product through before you applying the heat. And when you're applying heat from the hot comb, it's all in the back of the comb. So you got to have that wrist work, as you can see. I'm going through using the teeth to get through the hair, but you're using the back of the hot comb to press it out and flatten it smooth, as you can see. Be very careful. I would say come from this angle when you are pressing their hair, so you can see where the base of that hot comb or where the back of the hot comb is going, so you're not burning your client's scalp. And then for like little pieces where I really just can't reach or I'm nervous to get, I just use my mini flat irons. Now, if your client has a thicker hair density, I would say it's best that you split it into smaller pieces. Like how you see, like this is basically one piece. I just split it in half and half, but I will do it again like horizontally, if that makes sense. Like the way the bundles are laying, so that we could really get in there. Her hair density is pretty cool, so I can just go in with that hot comb right on top of her hair instead of splitting it and going into deeper sections. And then I'm just going in with the flat irons to kind of get the rest of the roots that was underneath, basically. Make sure y'all get that part right in the middle, y'all. Don't nobody want no sit apart. If the client wants to sit apart, I mean, I guess. But make sure that part is sitting straight and centered. And as you can see, like how I press the hair out with the hot comb, it's not oily. It's not heavy product, because I didn't add so much product to it. I'm going in with my Remington flat irons. This is the key to a good press out. So, like, a lot of people feel like with the leave outs, their hair gets burnt out, but it's really what you're doing and how you're prepping. So I use the Remington flat irons. You can get it from Walmart, Amazon. They don't cost much, like probably $50, and I might be lying about that. And I like to get the ceramic plates, because ceramic is much better for our hair. You see I got my Babyliss back there, the titanium. I had used that for her extensions. So I used titanium for the extensions, and I used the ceramic for their leave out, because a lot of clients do not need that heat on 450 with them titaniums, because that's what's burning their hair out. Ceramic will do just fine. You just got to go in sections, apply the right products, prep their hair at that bowl, and just glide real slow. Like as you can see, look how smooth and silky. Like, look how it looks really good. And I'm gonna show y'all how it blend later on. So that pretty much sums up like how to get a flat sew-in. I hope this video was very informational for you. If you feel like you need a little bit more insight on how to get a traditional sew-in flat and flawless like this, go ahead and click the link below. My traditional sew-in course is now live and available for you to purchase. I have the details on how to do the sew-in for the middle part, the side part, deep wave styling, curls, and straight. This is the perfect product for you to learn how to master the traditional sew-ins just like mine. Subscribe to my channel and follow my social medias for more tutorials and details on hairstyles. Thanks for tuning in, Queen. Now your sew-ins will look great.